Into the garbage chute, flyboy. Welcome to Consume the Canon. Last time on Consume the Canon, we talked about Canon. What it is, what it means, how many different kinds of canon there have been for Star Wars, and we talked specifically about the Disney canon, what it is, what it's made up of, and what I'm going to be going through next year. So if you didn't watch that video, jump over to the link that's down below, check it out, and then come back. Welcome back. So that's what makes up the Star Wars canon. Everything that's been released under the Star Wars brand since April of 2014, which of the time of this recording is 4 years and 4 months. A lot of stuff got released in that amount of time. Right now, I'm tracking, like I just said, 850 pieces of media. Now that's everything that's been released, plus everything that's been scheduled for release. So it actually tracks all the things that have been scheduled for release out to next April. So roughly 5 years of canon timeline is going to be about 850 pieces of media. But that means that there's also going to be another 6, 7, 8 months of releases next year, which have not been scheduled, or at least don't have a scheduled release date, that I'm also going to have to include into the content that I'm reviewing. So how does that content break down? Well, first off, we have the 12 movies. So you might actually think to yourself, 12 movies, wow. No, really, there's going to be, at the time that this is all completed, there will have been 12 Star Wars movies released. Now, this counts the Clone Wars movie as one of those movies, but we'd have episodes 1 through 9, Rogue One, Solo, and then Clone Wars. So, 12 movies. Not too much time. It's not too daunting. You can watch 12 movies probably in a week. But I'm going to be watching these in order, continuity order, to try and end on the last movie, episode 9. Next up is video games. Video games are a tricky one. So right now, I have 15 video games that I'm tracking. But most of these video games, while considered canon, have issues. The first and foremost is that some of them aren't available anymore. A lot of the video games that are listed in the Star Wars timeline canon were flash games or one-off video games that were created for Disney.com, which just don't exist anymore. I'm going to look to try and see if I can find them, but they haven't been released in any other way on DVDs or game collections. So some of these I might just not be able to watch at all. The biggest game that is going to be included is Battlefront 2. Not Battlefront 1. Battlefront 1 had no real canon material in it, but Battlefront 2 has 9 hours of single-player storytelling. So I'm going to need to include Battlefront 2 in this so I can get all the storytelling that is considered to be part of the canon into what I'm consuming. But as far as the rest of the video games are concerned, there's probably not going to be that much that's included. That is, of course, unless Vader Immortal is going to be considered part of canon. If it is, I need to buy an Oculus. Okay, 27 novels. I couldn't tell you the last time I read more than 3 novels in a year. And the Star Wars canon includes, up to now, 27 novels. And these are full 400-page novels. So we're talking about 10,000 pages of novel material that I'm going to be reading in the next year. Jeez. There are also over 120 other published pieces of reading material that I'm going to have to consume as well. There's the young reader content, which is stuff that's really made for little kids, so like golden books and stuff like that. And then there's the junior reader content, which is stuff that's more like the YA content made for kids between the ages of like 9 and 13. Those are generally shorter and easier to read, but there's still 120 of them. It's a lot of stuff. After that is television. 235 episodes of television. Assuming each one of them is roughly 20 minutes long, that's like watching every episode of Friends in a year, which isn't really that hard. You probably are saying to yourself, I could watch every episode of Friends in a year. Yeah, but could you also read all the comics about Friends and all the novels about Friends and watch all the movies about Friends? I mean, you could, because none of those things exist. But 235 episodes of television is a lot of television. And then there's the comics. Right now, there are 380 comic issues that have been printed or are scheduled to be printed. And the way that the timeline canon list on Wikipedia works, Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, it actually lists all the graphic novels as just one comic book. So it's really more like 400 to 450 comic issues, plus 235 episodes of television, plus 150 books, plus 12 films. What am I getting myself into? To say that I'm concerned is an understatement, but it's Star Wars, and I'm going to dedicate myself to it, and I'm hoping that you guys will be there to help me as well. So, like and share, tell your friends, fun at parties. Let's have some fun talking about, watching, arguing over, and enjoying the Star Wars canon from beginning to end. This has been Josh, and you've been watching Consume the Canon. Later.